John and Ken Show. John Cobell and Ken Champeau. It's KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
You know, he may be alone in this. We're not really sure. The Senate president in Sacramento is Darrell Steinberg, and he's walking around talking about a carbon tax. By the way,
a gas tax, though.
This has been brought up in Washington, D.C. for years to deal with climate change, and it goes nowhere. It's killed every time. It's got no hope.
Yeah, the climate changed twice in the last month. We went from full-on drought to floods and mudslides on Friday.
But good old Darrell Steinberg, of course, wants California to be first, and it is a carbon tax on oil companies. However, what that means is that's the cap and trade. California Air Resources Board, the Global Warming Solutions Act we talked about years ago, beginning in 2015, transportation fuel companies will have to pay the cap and trade tax. However, what Darrell Steinberg wants to do is not go after the oil companies with the cap and trade tax. He believes they'll find a way to game the system. He wants to go with a direct, separate, what he's calling, and John's right, it is a gas tax. He's calling it a carbon tax on you at the pump. And get ready for these numbers. 15 cents a gallon in 2015, rising up to 24 cents a gallon in 2020, and up to 43 cents a gallon by 2030. So 43 cents a gallon.
This is a massive gas tax. Hey, Ray, can you find out what is the California gas tax right now on a gallon of gas? Because I want to see what the percentage increase is here on the California gas tax. We have the highest gas tax in the nation, period, end of story. And now he wants to add 43 cents more per gallon. I mean, do the math on that. You have a 20-gallon tank. How much is that going to cost you? Well, it's going to cost you, what, about $8.60? It would cost you about $8.60 for a tank full of gas extra.
Right now, people are in no mood for this. You probably know gas prices have been rising rapidly the last few weeks again. And believe it or not, the story I read the other day, some of it's the disruption in Ukraine. I guess they do oil production.
Ukraine does oil production.
And it's also, believe it or not, they're already switching over to the summer blend.
The gas tax is 72 cents a gallon? Is that just the state tax, or is that everything, including the feds? Holy crap. Just California, 72 cents? They want to add another 43 cents a gallon on that? That's almost a 60% increase. He wants to raise the gas tax 60%? Is he nuts?
Over 15 years. But still. The first bump would be 15 cents next year.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a 60% increase in the gas tanks. The average gas tax nationwide is 49 cents. 49 cents. In California, it's 72, and he wants to add another 43.
Here he is explaining it to the Sacramento Press Club. Here's Darrell Steinberg.
On the issue of climate change itself, let me be clear. We have no choice. We must reduce the amount of carbon we put into the air, and that will come with a price. Nothing is free. Consumers will undoubtedly pay more at the pump.
No.
It may not be popular to say, but that's necessary. Higher prices discourage demand. If carbon pricing doesn't sting at least a little bit, we won't change our habits. Under my proposal, the price of carbon is projected to rise gradually, starting at an estimated 15 cents a gallon in the first year, rising to 43 cents a gallon by the year 2030. Putting a price on carbon fuels is essential to salvaging our environment, no matter how we do it. As I said earlier, it has to sting a little bit.
He doesn't sound unlike Loretta Sanchez talking about high-speed rail.
No.
He's got that whine.
Yeah, he's got that whine. I'm going to say this again. He's a lying dirtbag. He's part of the hoax. Go look it up. There's no global warming. Temperatures haven't risen for 17 and a half years. They have not risen for 17 and a half years. There is no global warming. They're carrying on about climate change. They were trying to sell us on a 100-year drought just last week. And now by Friday, they're warning us of floods and mudslides because suddenly, the climate changed again, didn't it? The climate changes every week. One week it's a drought. Next week it's a flood. Oh, my God, it's hot. And then it's cold. The climate keeps changing. We've got to stop it from changing. We have to tax your gasoline. He's crazy. This is like a religious cult. Actually, it's just a cover for the usual greed. Why do you think they want 43 cents a gallon in a gas tax increase?
Well,
because it's going to fund a lot of their projects, and all their brothers and brother-in-laws will be glomming on like they did to high-speed rail.
The revenue generated by this proposal would be used towards mass transit.
Yeah.
And to give every family in the state making under $75,000 a year a tax credit of at least $600.
So it's a cover story for more socialism. It's a cover story to steal.
Well, they believe people have to drive, and if they do, they're paying 43 cents a gallon more. Yeah. They want to give them something back if they're poor.
They're going to be stealing 43 cents a gallon from the middle class and giving it to poor people. That's the purpose of this. It's not about global warming. What California does has no effect on the world. We're too small. We're only 38 million people out of over 6 billion. We're too tiny. We don't matter. I know these egotistical jerks in Sacramento think they're the center of the world. There is nothing. We could all commit suicide tomorrow, and we'd have no effect on global warming. This is a cash grab. They want billions of dollars to make poor people more dependent on Democrats so that the poor keep voting for Democrats. That's their purpose. They gussy it up at all kinds of like nonsense junk science research, global warming scares, climate change hoaxes. They got all kinds of new and modern tools, but it's the same old thing. If you get people dependent on a particular party, those people will keep voting for that party. Because God forbid there's an opposing party, they might want to cut off the gravy train. So what Steinberg wants to do is just steal money, this time from the middle class. See, 2 years ago with Prop 30, they stole it from the wealthy. Now they're going after the middle class. 43 cents a gallon. That's going to cost you, if that's $8 a week. Let's say you get a tank a week. That's $400 a year. $400 a year. $4,000 over the next decade that they will steal from you and give to the poor.
Well, here's why it probably won't happen. There are many Democrats that don't agree with Steinberg, and of course, while they have a majority in Sacramento, it's going to take almost all of them to push something like this. Jerry Brown isn't even big on any more taxes, he says right now. But there are a number of environmental Democrats in Sacramento who think, no, let's hit the oil companies with the cap and trade. Don't hit people at the pump. And finally this. Darrell Steinberg is termed out this year.
So this is what he wants to go out on?
This is the end, right. 2014 is his last year.
God, isn't he a sleazy, annoying gas bag?
He already opened up, are you ready? A 2018 Lieutenant Governor campaign account.
Isn't that a perfect...
2018.
He's Gray Davis.
Because everyone assumes that it's going to be Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom again in 2014, so everybody's already getting ready for 2018. But he may run for some local Sacramento office.
Parasite.
I don't know what he's going to do next year.
Human parasite. And you know what I really resent? This idea that I got to change my behavior. I burn gas because I got to drive to work. Screw you. Not your business that I have to drive a car to go to work. Or to go to the store
and you drive a guzzler.
And I drive a gas guzzler. And I'm really happy about it because I need a really big car.
Why?
And it's not your business. Huh?
Oh.
No, I got a lot of people in my family. We lug a lot of stuff around. That's my life, my choice. I have the money to pay for the gas. My business, not his. Get the bleep out of my life now.
It has to sting a little bit.
Yeah, I'll give you a sting. And stop lying about global warming. You Steinberg, Professor Steinberg, explain why the temperatures haven't risen for 17 years. Tell us about your drought scam. Now we're getting inundated with floods and mudslides Friday.
1-800-5
One scam after another.
1-800-520-1534.